Okay, folks, welcome to the channel. Before we dive into today's fascinating topic, I just want to take a quick second to wish everyone watching good health and happiness. Seriously, take care of yourselves out there. Now, let's get into something super cool. How we can understand the complex way blood moves through our bodies using something incredibly simple, water and ordinary tubes. It sounds almost too basic, right? But stick with me, because this simple setup actually reveals some profound secrets about how our own circulatory system works. Think about your blood vessels, arteries, veins, tiny capillaries. They're basically a vast network of tubes running throughout your entire body. And flowing through them is blood, which, while thicker than water, is still fundamentally a fluid. That's the key similarity we exploit. Water flowing through a clear plastic tube gives us a visual, easy-to-understand model for what blood does inside us, hidden from view. It lets us see the principles of fluid flow in action without needing fancy equipment or a medical degree. So, imagine you have a simple setup, a container of water, like a big bottle or bucket, representing the heart or a reservoir of fluid. Attached to this container is a long, flexible tube. When you lift the container high above the outlet of the tube, gravity pulls the water down and it starts flowing out. That height difference? That's creating pressure, just like your heart creates pressure when it squeezes and pumps blood out. The higher you lift the container, the stronger the push, higher pressure, and the faster the water flows. This directly mirrors how your heart's pumping force generates the pressure that drives blood around your body. A stronger heartbeat means higher pressure, pushing blood faster and further. Now, what happens if you pinch the tube halfway down? You instantly feel resistance, and the flow out the end slows down or might even stop. The water might also bulge slightly above the pinch point. This is a perfect demonstration of resistance. In your body, resistance comes from the blood vessels themselves. Narrower tubes, like smaller arteries or especially tiny capillaries, offer more resistance to flow than wide ones, like the big aorta artery, leaving the heart. Conditions like plaque buildup in arteries, atherosclerosis, essentially pinch the tube, increasing resistance. This forces the heart to work much harder, pump against higher pressure, to maintain the same flow rate, which is a major factor in high blood pressure, hypertension. Seeing that water struggle against the pinch makes this concept crystal clear. Let's make it more realistic. Our bodies don't have just one tube, we have a whole branching network. Try connecting one main tube to several smaller tubes, and then maybe connect some of those to even tinier tubes. Pour water into the main inlet and watch how it splits and flows down all the different branches. This shows flow distribution. You'll likely notice that more water might flow down the wider, straighter branches initially, while less might trickle down the narrower or more twisted paths. This mimics how blood flow is distributed throughout your organs and tissues. Your body carefully regulates the width, diameter, of different vessels to control exactly how much blood goes where, sending more to your muscles when you're running or to your gut after a meal. Seeing the water naturally take the paths of least resistance, wider, shorter tubes, helps explain why blockages or narrowed vessels in specific branches can starve certain areas of blood, like in a heart attack or stroke. Another thing you can easily test is the effect of tube length. Grab a really long tube and a really short one of the same diameter. Try to push water through both using the same pressure. Lift the water source to the same height. You'll see the water flows noticeably slower out of the long tube than the short one. Friction between the water and the tube walls builds up over distance, slowing the flow. This is also true in your body. Blood traveling a longer path from the heart, say, down to your toes, experiences more resistance and might flow slightly slower than blood taking a shorter route to your brain, all else being equal. It's another factor your heart has to overcome. Now, let's talk about the fluid itself. Water is thin. Blood is thicker, more viscous, because it's carrying cells and proteins. You can mimic this by adding a little corn syrup or honey to your water, making it more viscous. Try pushing this thicker fluid through the same tube at the same pressure, same height. What happens? It flows much slower. This shows how the viscosity of the fluid directly impacts the flow rate. Conditions like dehydration or certain blood disorders that make blood thicker increase its viscosity, forcing the heart to pump harder to maintain circulation. Seeing the syrupy water move sluggishly compared to plain water makes this effect undeniable. Here's a really important point the model illustrates beautifully: the relationship between pressure, flow, and resistance. It's not random. There's a fundamental rule, like Ohm's law for electricity, but for fluids. If you want to increase the flow rate, get more water out the end per second, you have only two options: increase the pressure, lift your water source higher, or decrease the resistance. Use a wider tube, a shorter tube, or less viscous fluid. You can't magically get more flow without changing one of those two things. Your body operates under this exact same rule. To get more blood to your muscles during exercise, your body doesn't just make the heart pump harder, increase pressure, it also dilates, widens the blood vessels in those muscles, decreases resistance. Seeing how manipulating pressure and resistance on your tabletop changes the flow makes this crucial physiological principle incredibly tangible. While the water and tubes model is incredibly powerful for grasping these core concepts, we have to remember it's a simplification. Real blood vessels are stretchy and elastic, not rigid like most plastic tubes. When the heart pumps, arteries expand to absorb the pressure surge, then gently recoil, helping to smooth out the flow. Our rigid tubes don't do this. Also, blood isn't just a smooth liquid. It's full of cells that can affect flow, especially in the tiniest vessels. And our model usually shows steady flow, while blood flow is pulsatile. It comes in waves with each heartbeat. But even with these limitations, the core lessons about pressure, resistance, flow, and viscosity hold absolutely true and provide a rock-solid foundation for understanding the much more complex real thing. So, why go through all this trouble with buckets and hoses? Because seeing is believing and understanding. Building this simple model allows doctors, scientists, and curious folks like you and me to visualize and experiment with the fundamental forces governing blood flow. It turns abstract concepts like hypertension or the impact of a narrowed artery into something you can see and feel. It demystifies how your amazing circulatory system delivers life-giving oxygen and nutrients to every single cell. Next time you turn on a garden hose or sip water through a straw, remember, you're holding a tiny model of the incredible, life-sustaining river system flowing inside you right now. Thanks for watching, and stay healthy.